Ah ouais.
The return of the magic carpet. The swell has arrived, but the wind has turned. Anchored on the east coast, it will take the Hamati several hours to cross the atoll and reach the west coast, where the waves are better today. The riders have to call David and his seaplane not only to check, but to actually go surfing with it. In just a few minutes, the seaplane crosses the atoll. It is now simply a matter of looking down and land close to the best waves. Suddenly, in the middle of nowhere, long trails of whitewash sign the presence of a quite surprising spot. A few seconds later, all the surfers have to do is jump out and paddle out to a perfect break.
That was just all time. I mean, it's the first time I've ever surfed a wave with no land nearby, and it was really exciting. It was a good left-hander, and around the point there was a right-hander too.
Tu peux passer à côté sans t'apercevoir qu'il y a des vagues.
You can go past that spot without even noticing there's waves, and therefore miss a good day of surfing.
C'est un spot qui vaut la peine d'être surfé, quoi.
It's worth being surfed. I'm pretty sure this wave has never been surfed before.
Parce qu'il faut vraiment, on est tombé dessus.
We were just lucky there was a set of waves as we went past it.
Des vagues qui passaient au moment où on passait à côté.
That's called good timing.
Bon timing, je pense. Ouais.
Cause I'm a creep, that's what I am. It comes
An epic session. Every wave breaks both ways, right and left, on a reef barely covered with water. Tube rides, re-entries, cutbacks, the whole list of maneuvers is available on that wave.
Being on land, you can't explore. I mean, we rocked up in the middle of the ocean. There was a reef with good waves. No one would ever have seen it. The wind direction wasn't a normal prevailing wind, and suddenly we had perfect waves. Nobody out. In unknown territory. No one. Living in a hotel, you would never see that kind of thing. I mean, you maybe see the known breaks and have good waves, but exploring and finding waves that haven't been surfed is an amazing thing, you know?
Cool. So how was it? It was actually pretty nice, man. It was the best session yet, by far. There's my board back.
This is something I've had dreams about doing since I was 7 years old and just started surfing. You know, I'd look through the magazines and see all these exotic places with palm trees and blue water and perfect little waves, and I just go, wow, that's, you know, that was a dream for me.
I've only stepped on land once in 15 days, you know, and sometimes you just wonder what's actually happening in the real world. I mean, we have no information of what's happening at home, no cell phones, no nothing, you know.
Pretty soon I didn't know what day it was, what was the date. It was a true adventure. Life goes on peacefully in the Maldives, especially on the numerous islands of the central atolls. Here, far from the modern world, one will mostly find a lot of simplicity in the everyday life. Manoa, the Tahitian, isn't really far from his element.
Je suis content d'être venu aux Maldives, d'avoir rencontré ces gens-là. J'ai l'impression d'être.
I'm happy I came here to the Maldives and I met those people. I feel like home in Polynesia. It's funny to see these people living on such little atolls. The country is independent, so I was asking a few questions around to understand how we could have a different culture in the same environment. It was interesting.
Entre nos cultures, alors qu'on vit dans le même environnement. Et c'est intéressant.
The main resources of the central atoll's inhabitants are fishing, shipbuilding and handicrafts. A remarkable fact is the natural open-mindedness and curiosity of the Maldivians, although they firmly respect the traditions.
Hey Mike, Harukihine. So have you looked on the forecast? Okay, so any news?
I'll promise you this, there's a good swell coming, say 6 to 8 foot. It's like west winds, and weather will be okay.
Okay, so well, we very much likely are gonna cruise towards the west, and well, I'll call you back in the next few days.
Yeah, alright, sure. Yeah, okay, see you, bye.
The riders must act quickly, The pass is able to receive such big swell are situated on another atoll, further south, and a precise check must be done. The swell has arrived in the south. On a nearby pass, a large coral reef shows a good setup for a surfing spot. A long, hollow, perfect right-hander that Antony immediately identifies on the map. An entire day of navigation will be needed to reach that place. The riders have to pray for the swell to last a few more days. While the seaplane is today's attraction for the local kids, not really used to see this kind of craft in the area, it is time for the Hamati to move. On agenda, 14 hours in the open sea.
We stop here?
Yeah.
Tomorrow
morning.
The forecast was pretty good. The surprise on arrival is even better.
At least there's swell action right now, you know?
Yeah.
It's not just... It's hard to say. Oh, look at that set.
That one looks sick.
Yeah, that's gotta be working. This might be actually the spot we're meant to be. This might be it.
The spot they were meant to be? Maybe, maybe not. Anyway, the surf is pumping with solid 6 to 8 foot waves. The tide is dropping, the waves are getting hollower, and Manoa finds a great tube ride. Duane has to change his board to match the spot's power.
A little better than it looks, actually. It's a lot more powerful than it looks also. It's the most powerful wave we surfed yet. So, pretty stoked.